Oh gosh, I am way too close to the camera. Hey guys, so it has been a while, huh? Um, so the few people who are subscribed and even know that this channel exists, hi, I'm back. Um, I haven't made a video in 8 months. And it's kind of a long story as to why I haven't, but yeah, so that's what this video is. So grab a snack because this may take a while. So the last time I made a video, I was in a pretty good place. You know, I was working, I was getting that money, you know what I'm saying? And I was healthy, I was eating fine and wasn't, you know, going all crazy or anything like that. I was active, I was productive, I was working out, I was going to school, I was doing a lot. And from that point on, I kind of started to get off track a little bit. And by that I mean I started to eat a lot more meat than I usually did. I started to incorporate a lot more sugar into my diet. And sugar inflames me. Processed sugar and too much cane sugar, any sugar can really spark an inflammation in me. So I was eating a lot more of that, and I started to notice that I was going through periods of flare-ups where my legs would swell, and my eyes would get puffy, and I would just be not feeling my best. And I started to just feel awful all the time, and I would call off work for the stupidest little things, like my stomach would be hurting too much and I just was like, oh, I just really can't go to work, or I'd have a headache, or my sinuses would be bothering me. Something was always bothering me, and now I know that it was because of all that stuff that I was eating. And even back then I knew, it didn't click, I didn't pay attention to it. But recently, within the last couple of weeks, something happened that honestly just knocked me completely out. And unless I told you personally, no one would know, honestly. So let me tell you. About 4 weeks ago, so at the beginning of August, I started to get a wound in my leg. Now, this wound was originally like a bruise. It looked like a bruise. And I had it for about a year, and it was just a bruise. And then over time, with all the swelling that my legs were doing, it sort of started to burst open. It gets a little graphic, I'm just saying. So if you have a squeamish stomach, turn it off. But it started to open, and a wound was forming on it. And it honestly, it looks like as if someone got a little ice cream scoop and just scooped out my leg. Just scooped it out. There's a hole. And it was burning, and I couldn't walk on it, so I had to call off work sometimes because it just was so painful. So we finally went to urgent care after just trying to treat it naturally. And of course, if you treat anything naturally, it's going to take a long time. And I was impatient and I was in pain. So we went to urgent care. And in urgent care, they gave me an antibiotic. Now, when I was there, the physician that was working with us looked at my medical history at Kaiser, and it says right there, you know, point blank, that they have diagnosed me with an autoimmune disease, lupus, with kidney involvement. Okay, so keep that in mind, kidney involvement. All right, so they gave me this antibiotic called Bactrim, and they were very adamant, don't stop taking it, because if you stop taking it halfway through, the next time you go to get antibiotics again, it's going to be like 10 times worse. And I was like, okay, fine. So I took it, and I wasn't feeling any better. It wasn't getting better. The pain was kind of going away, but it wasn't going away enough like an antibiotic should do to heal it. So eventually one day it was just it hurt way too much, and then I started to feel sick, like cold and flu symptoms. I was just achy, I was tired, I was just like in bed, and I tried to go to work one day and I was dizzy and I just couldn't even function. So the next day after I left that last day of work early, my mom was like, okay, we gotta go to urgent care. And I was really like, no, I'm not trying to go to urgent care. But we went to urgent care. And what happened in urgent care is that they took my blood, took a urine sample just to make sure that everything was okay and working right. And the results came back, and it turns out that I was in kidney failure. I was in acute kidney failure, and they wanted to admit me into the hospital. And that's not really how I wanted to spend my Wednesday. Not at all. I thought I would be able to go in and they could give me something to make me feel a little bit better. Not cure me, of course, but to make me at least get through the next couple days or whatever. But no, that's not what happened. So I got admitted, and I would go into all like the details of like creatinine levels and all that other stuff, but it's way too much. But I was in the hospital for 5 days, and they were giving me a whole bunch of stuff. They were giving me antibiotics, 2 antibiotics, because they didn't know if I had an infection or not. They weren't sure. They were giving me steroids. They were giving me shots in my stomach to prevent blood clots. They were giving me this laxative that made me use the bathroom on myself. It felt like every 30 minutes. It felt like endless. I could barely sleep. I didn't eat. I didn't drink water. It was a terrible time. And not only was it a terrible time, but I had to be in the hospital. I had to be there like through my dad's birthday, and I was afraid I was going to have to be there till my birthday, which was only a couple of days. Like if I would have stayed like maybe 4 more days, I would have spent my 19th birthday in a hospital. So that's basically what was happening. And along with all the medications and everything they were giving me, I also had about 5-6 doctors come in almost every day, basically telling me, you're gonna die. If I didn't get dialysis to fix the kidney failure, or to whatever the dialysis does, I know what it does, but kind of, not really. If I didn't get that I was going to die. And even one doctor was saying, we don't know if it's going to be tomorrow or next week or in a couple of weeks. We just know that, you will eventually die if you don't get this procedure done. And I was not getting it done. No way, no how. They offered dialysis when they first diagnosed me. I was like, no, I'm not getting, no. And thank God that I had my mom and my dad and my grandma and everyone else, my friends, backing me up on that, saying, Naya, if you don't want to get it, like that stuff it's tricky. It's real tricky. You don't know if you'll come out of it okay. And I just knew. So it was a no. And I asked to be let out of the hospital early. I signed a waiver saying, it was basically just a waiver saying, hey, if you die, we didn't have nothing to do with it. So I signed that knowing good and well that my kidneys may still be jacked up, but I can't be here anymore. I can't. I didn't cry the entire time I was there. I wasn't scared. I had a peace about being there, but it was still a very harrowing experience that I never want to go through again. So, I got home and I was still feeling sick and nauseous, and I had to kind of teach myself to walk again. I know that sounds weird, but for some reason my equilibrium just got knocked all the way off, and I was wobbling when I was walking. I had no balance. Think of a toddler trying to walk, take its first steps. That's how I looked. And it was a hard time because I was sitting there thinking like, gosh, when am I going to get better? When is this going to be, when am I going to be normal again? I want to get back to my old life. I want to go back to work. I want to go to school. I want to work out again. Like, I just want to get back to it. And even though all of that stuff that happened could have been avoided if I just didn't take that Bactrim, it taught me that if I really want to be healed, fully and completely healed, that I have to follow everything that God says. Because God got me through a lot during that time. He really did. What happened to me and how fast I recovered, that was all Him. I didn't do anything. And the doctors didn't do anything. It was all Him. And listening to the doctors, and don't get me wrong, doctors are, I can't even, no, I can't even say anything positive about them. If I were to have listened to what the doctors were saying and have done what they wanted me to do, I would not be here. I'm sure of that. I want to tell you guys a scripture. John 10:10. It says, the devil's purpose is to steal, kill, and destroy. And that is, of course, the exact opposite of what God wants to do. And if you read on, it says, Jesus wants us to have a rich and satisfying life. And I won't have that if I listen to those doctors and if I listen to this person and that person. I need to listen to Him. He's the one who created my body. He's the one who knows how it works. Even before I got sick, He knew. So I've made changes. Big changes for me. Because I love meat. But my body can't tolerate it. Will it ever be able to? I don't know. But right now it can't. So I have been vegan for about a week. And I'm sticking to that. And I'm going to listen. Because I lost touch with God's voice. And I couldn't recognize it anymore. And that stopped my life for a long, long time. And now I'm rebuilding it. The relationship that I had with Him back 8 months ago. And I feel excited and hopeful. And I'm ready to do what I'm supposed to do. So that's it. I will be posting videos again in the coming weeks. We're gonna finish the Fruit of the Spirit series. I haven't forgotten, trust me. Yeah, so thanks for watching.